Ayo, Isidro. Holler at the people. 10,000 tacos.
Welcome to 10,000 Tacos. 10,000 Tacos is a podcast that takes a look at the world, the taco world and beyond, through the eyes of a taquero. I'm Isidro Salas, your host, and I grew up in a taco truck, and I want to share with you those experiences and many of those lessons that have shaped the way I look at the world today.
10,000 tacos. Yo, 10,000 tacos.
Flipping tortillas with your bare hands. Using your hands to flip tortillas has always been normal for me. And I've always wondered why people using tongs or any other device, I'm not referring to my wife, but any other device to flip the tortillas was not normal. I always thought that was not normal. But I guess it makes sense, right? The comal, it's super hot. Yes, we know that is true. It is uber hot. Every time I asked why, as I encountered people that were using these things, I asked, why are you using a tong or something like that to flip the tortillas? And of course, the reply would be, because I don't want my hands to get burnt. I don't want to burn my hands. I guess that's an adequate response. But to me, it just never was enough in my head. I was like, no, that's not enough. You should flip them with your hand. Anyway, it was just never enough for me because it simply wasn't true. In my head, that was not true. You see, most of us are equipped with senses. Yes, we all came out of the factory with senses to help us with things, we can't handle, right? And of course we see, right? We have the sense of sight, we have the sense of taste, the sense of touch, but we have all these other senses that we really don't account for. And danger is one of those senses when you have fear of something, right? Or when you're trying to avoid getting hurt. When something, for example, is too heavy, then you try to lift it, and something stops you from lifting it. And that something is your sense telling you, don't lift it, right? Then you go get help. If something's too hot, then you don't touch it. You don't go and if you do, you quickly have that reaction that don't touch it because you're going to get burned. So I could understand that. And in which case, then you wait for it to cool down. In my head, those rules, they don't apply to the tortilla and flipping the tortilla. And I think it's because the tortilla is very unique. It neither is too heavy, right? So you could lift it, nor is it too hot to handle because it's not heavy and it's very easy to handle. That rule doesn't apply. So I felt the act of just using your own hands was very safe because of that rule that I grew up with. Flipping tortillas with my hands was a simple thing, very simple. I thought it was normal. And again, if it was too hot or too difficult, then nobody would do it. That's the way I saw it. Nobody'd do it. If it was too hot for me, then I would just let it go as quickly as I touched it. Again, that's what our senses are for, aren't they? My mother and her mother, which is obviously my grandmother, and her mother's mother, they all did it. It's a generational thing. But for me, it wasn't like there was a day that my mom said to me, look, mijo, there's going to be a day that you will have to flip your own tortillas. And when that day comes, you better use your hands and your hands only, for the cucuy will come to get you if you don't. Scary, isn't it? Nah, that never happened. That's not why I started doing it. And it wasn't a prerequisite of growing up in a Mexican household or even working in a taco truck. We didn't have to know how to flip our own tortillas with our bare hands to work in the truck. You know, my mother never taught us how to grab tortillas and then flip them with our own hands. That wasn't part of the growing up curriculum. We simply just watched her over the years and thought it was something that we would eventually have to do. Isn't that how generations pass knowledge to generations? You simply watch, you observe, and when your time comes to do it, then you do it. So as the years went on, it became sort of second nature to reach into that comal, pick up your tortilla and flip it. I thought it was normal. But it wasn't normal. Now that I'm married, and not just because I'm married, but the conversations I have with my wife and some of my friends, turns out it isn't normal. I have these very interesting conversations with people. Are you crazy? You're gonna burn yourself. You're gonna burn yourself. I'm trying to get the Scottish accent, but don't tell my wife because she'll flip. It's not that good, but I'm trying, you know. Half my family is Scottish. Scottish. Anyway, so I hear that a lot. Are you crazy? Are you gonna, you're gonna burn yourself? Why would you want to burn yourself? People would say. There are some of the many remarks that people would say, and they would have these questions like, are you nuts? Yes. I mean, no, my response. I'm not gonna burn myself, and no, I'm not crazy. Nobody ever wants to burn themselves. Well, not normal people. And certainly no one wants to be labeled as crazy. I guess if you're going to burn yourself, you would be crazy. But anyway, that's not the point. Yet I still continued to do it. I still continue to do it. I still continue to flip tortillas with my bare hands. Yes, it is normal to me. I always reply. And it's not about courage or bravery to use your own hands. Only a fool would believe that, right? Putting yourself through pain only to demonstrate, to prove a point, to show that you can handle the heat. If you're only doing it to demonstrate that, that's foolish. But there are some people who do those things. They have to prove. I guess it's in the competitive nature of people. And an example of this is where there are restaurants that have chili eating contests where they the hottest, spiciest things, and I mean these things are like really, really, really hot. These sauces are really hot. They're like something like 8 billion in the something scale that they call it to measure. And sure enough, there's always people that, I gotta show that I'm a man. I'm gonna take this salsa and shove it down my throat. That is foolish. So it's not about that. It's not about courage or bravery to flip tortillas with your hands. I guess you could say for me, it's about efficiency. Using a tool, using a tong, using something, pliers or a spatula to flip tortillas, I think just takes too long, right? You gotta go get the tool, you gotta use it, and you put it in your hand. And just in case, for those who say it's just a second or two, then I'd say to them, or rather I'd ask this question. When is the last time you complained your mobile device was not loading your photos fast enough onto your Instagram account? Or when was the last time your internet was just slow, even though it's milliseconds slow? Yeah, that's how slow it is when you use tongs. But lastly, using my bare hands to flip tortillas comes down to more of a symbolic thing than normal to me. It's more symbol. It's more of a symbol. And if you've been listening to the podcast, I delve into certain things a little bit deeper. And this is one of them. Using your bare hands, in my opinion, gets you closer to your senses, right? You get closer to your senses to feel, to experiment what your senses are doing. It's not testing your senses, but it's working them out. If we don't work out our senses, then how are you going to know what something feels like? Your senses are the key to your awareness. Being aware puts you in the center of the Earth's wavelengths. Like as time goes, being aware puts you close to that. And it helps you make better choices. When you're aware, you just make better choices. So that's why it's more of a symbolic thing for me. Because better choices inevitably lead to better tacos. And isn't that why we're here? To have better tacos? It's one of the reasons I'm here. That is all for this episode. Thank you very much for making us a part of your day. It is very, very humbling. Again, I keep saying it, but I do mean it. Every time we see and we get notifications that people are downloading our podcast, it really is like putting some nice salsa on the taco. It makes it worth it. So thank you very much for that. I'd like to thank Flo Obama, Screech Beats, and Caesar Omega for the theme song. And I would like to ask for a favor, continually ask, please, if you can, give us a rating or recommend the podcast to others and help us grow it. We'd like to be in more ears, so to speak. And the more, the merrier. Thanks again for joining us. And until next time, I'm Isidro Salas, and this is 10,000 Tacos.